What's up, guys? So in the beginning of Classic WoW, a lot of us were looking at ways to level as fast as possible. Some of us were searching videos on quest routes, others were practicing, their 1 to 10 route that they were going to take so that they could get ahead of the main pack of players. Now, a lot of people use deaths as kind of a strategic way of getting closer to a graveyard or a town when they were first leveling. But then once you pass those first few zones, maybe you're level 10 or 12, deaths start to become something that just occurs once in a while. You pull too many mobs, you accidentally aggro another one when the mob is running away and fleeing from you, or you get, too far into a cave or a camp and you get overrun by mobs and you end up dying. I don't know how many times I died while I was leveling up, but it definitely was a lot, especially towards the later part of the game. Deaths just seem to kind of be a part of the leveling process. So that's why I'm really interested in this challenge that Cargos is putting on. If you guys are not familiar with Cargos, he's a YouTuber and Twitch streamer, and he's probably one of the first classic WoW YouTubers that I was watching a lot before I even started creating content. He did a lot of really interesting talks kind of on the spirit of vanilla and classic and why the game is so loved by so many people. But I do think that once we all started playing classic, a lot of us kind of moved away from that, and we were starting to get into more, like, everyone was interested in like min-maxing and hardcore, and what could I do to get to 60 the fastest, how can I gear up the quickest. And I think this challenge kind of takes you back to the roots of WoW and gives you something that's definitely difficult and hard to accomplish, but at the same time allows you to kind of slow down and enjoy the game. So what is the hardcore mode? Well, the hardcore mode is going to take place on Bloodsail Buccaneers, and it already is taking place. There's guilds on the Horde side and the Alliance side that you can join and play with like-minded individuals. So the hardcore rules is that you only have one life. If you die, you have to delete your character or you have to leave it as a ghost, and then you have to essentially restart and start over. So you're allowed to have professions and talents, but you have to self-craft and self-obtain all of your items. So you can't use the auction house or send stuff through the mail system for yourself. So everything has to be obtained by yourself out in the world. So there's no grouping that's allowed in the open world. So you can't, group up with 2 or 3 people and then go out and do quests. You have to be a solo player out in the world. Now, you can do dungeons, but you have to be with a group of all hardcore players, and then these groups are allowed. And you can also, do the quests for the dungeons and everything like that. Now, you cannot use soul stones as a warlock, you cannot use onks as a shaman, and you cannot bubble hearth as a paladin. So those are other stipulations. Now, if you do reach 60, then you have earned your freedom from death, and if you die at that point, it's okay, because the whole hardcore mentality and aspect is the 1 through 60 process. So your journey must be recorded and uploaded to YouTube, or it needs to be streamed so it can count. At this point, this is the only way that they can ensure that you're being honest, and if you do die, it's documented. Maybe in the future there'll be some kind of add-on that can keep you accountable, because I know for some people recording it or streaming it can kind of, if they don't have a great PC, it can kind of hurt things. But that is a requirement for now, is to be able to have some kind of proof of your progress. And that is essentially the hardcore mode. Now, there's lots of people partaking in the hardcore mode right now on Bloodsail Buccaneers. Like I said, there's guilds on both the Horde and Alliance side, and the great thing is it is a PvE server, so you're able to have Horde and Alliance characters on the same server. So if you want to run through the hardcore mode on an Alliance character and then you want to make a Horde character, you can do that on the same account and on the same realm. So that's really awesome. Now, not only is there a hardcore mode running right now on that server, but also there's going to be a hardcore community cup that you can take part in. I will be taking part in it. I'm super excited to do so, and I know there's going to be a lot of other players. Obviously, the more players that come and participate, the more fun and the more exciting the community event will be, and the more likely that more community events like this in the future will take place. We've already seen dueling tournaments and stuff like that. It would be nice to see more community driven events like this, and I really applaud Cargos and Death Camp and Meldron and all those people who are working on this behind the scenes, because personally I think this is an awesome event and I'm really excited to take part in it as well. So this will be a 12-hour played time window on Bloodscale Buccaneers, and you can sign up for this. I'll have a link to all the information down in the description of this video, so you can make sure you can check it all out and see if you have the time. It's going to be on February 29th, and it's going to start at 8 a.m. EST, and then it's going to end at 8 p.m. EST. So it's going to be a long play session, but that will ensure that there'll be plenty of time for people to try and get out ahead. And you're going to really have to think of how you level, right? Because if it was just a pure level as fast as you can in this time window, a lot of people wouldn't be so concerned about dying. But since it is a hardcore mode, you're going to have to take speed and safety into account. So obviously if you die in that 12-hour window, you're going to have to restart, and you're going to be at a significant disadvantage. So it'll be very interesting to see the kind of strategies that come out of players. Obviously there's going to be certain classes that are going to be easier than others. However, if you run as a hunter, you're going to have obviously an easier time than if you ran as a warrior, but there's a lot more prestige as playing as a warrior than a hunter. So you have to pick your class carefully. But definitely, guys, check this out. I will have a link in the description of this video that'll have all the information. There's a really intuitive form that you can fill out, that all you really need to put in is your character's name and all that kind of stuff to register for the event. So it's very easy. There is going to be prizes of WoW game time for people that win. Again, this is a community event, so the more people that can partake in this, and then the more people you spread and share this with, the larger the event will be and the more successful the event will be. And like I said, if we can get a lot of people to come out and do events like this, there's going to be more of them in the future. And that's the kind of stuff I really like to see in Classic WoW, because Classic WoW really essentially is, a giant sandbox. So if these kind of events go off and a lot of people really enjoy them, creating more events like this is definitely something that could happen in the future. I mean, personally, we saw that with what am I trying to say? With the beta, where they were capped at different levels, and there was kind of like a meta game that came up at these different levels of 30 and 40, and trying to get the best gear and dueling and doing PvP. So it'd be interesting to see what other community events can spring out of things like this in the future. So with me narrating all this video, you've seen me playing my hardcore character in the background. Now, I was obviously doing some multitasking. That's why I am kind of cutting the footage here and there, because I would go AFK for a while. But mainly my goal was to get out of the starting area and actually get to the content that was going to get quote-unquote hard. And then I'm going to show you guys right here where I actually die because I jump off of the tower, which I do all the time. I do that like every time I level Night Elf. I don't really care. I just jump off the tower. The graveyard's right there. It's faster than running all the way down, and I just didn't even think about it, and I died. So that character, who only was able to get to levels 5 or 6, is now dead in the water, and I have to restart. So there's a lot of instances like that with the hardcore mode where you really need to be cognizant, and you got to be kind of focused on the game and trying not to multitask too much, because you're going to get into a situation where you do something that you're used to or you're accustomed to, and you don't realize how dangerous it is. And you know, dying at a low level like this isn't a huge deal. I can remake the character and continue where I left off. But you know, if you're level 20 or 30 and you know, fell off a cliff or something and you die, that's the game. You know, you're going to have to restart, create a new character, and start from scratch. So like I said, I love this event. I think this event is going to be awesome. I'm personally partaking in it, so I really hope to see all of you guys out there, as many of you that would have the 12-hour window. Definitely try and sign up for this, or if you don't have the time to do the tournament, definitely tune in on that day to Cargos's stream, because I'm sure this event is going to draw a lot of attention and it's probably going to be pretty interesting to watch. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you guys are interested in the hardcore gameplay, because I think this is going to be very, very interesting and fun for a lot of players. So I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.